because I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncers' guilt rings.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV. We're at Round 10 Boxing Club here in Dubai. I'm joined by Jamie Moore, who's had a very busy morning.
Yeah, hello mate, you okay?
Yeah, good. Yeah. And I said you've had a busy morning, haven't you? I was just like seeing you doing like 100 things at once.
Yeah, we're over here. Me, Jack, Chantel, Akib, Fiaz, and Cameron Vyong. So busy morning.
And Sam Jones is just like tagged along, isn't he? Because I was thinking, why are you here? Like, why is Sam here for? But just part of the team bonding, I suppose.
Chief brewer upper and chief bucket carrier is for camp.
You've got a very...
Sam, can I have a cup of tea, please? Yeah, thank you. No, we're just talking about how you're only here to like brew up and things like that. To be fair, I've heard he does, but I don't drink tea.
No, he didn't like that at all. Look, he's actually still fuming about it, so absolutely fuming. A very busy end of the year for you now, between now and, well, pretty much till Christmas. So, yeah, just you've got all different fighters at all different kind of stages and levels, yeah.
We have, yeah. So Cameron's got his debut 7th of October in Sheffield. And then we've got, in between, I think Mark Leach's fight is looking like it might be moved to the 6th of October. But we've also got Jack and Akib on the same bill, 21st of October in Liverpool, and then Chantel, 25th of November. And in between that, I think Cameron's going to be fighting again. We've got Lerone Harrison out fighting. Still waiting to see what's happening with Sean McGoldrick. Oh God, I don't want to miss anyone out. We've got Stephen Wars looking for a date still. I think that's it. God, I hope I've not missed anyone there.
Okay, yeah, so like I said, a period between now and pretty much Christmas, yeah, you're literally flat out, but you wouldn't have it any other way, would you?
Not really. You know, it's not a job, is it? I mean, we're out here in Dubai training, and God, you miss your family and stuff, but there's no better place to be. I mean, the facilities are brilliant here. We always get well looked after, and the heat, training in this type of heat is just another level. So it gets them in great shape, and it breaks the training camp up as well. So it's not, we're in our gym nearly every day. So it just makes it a change of scenery. It just breaks it up and keeps them fresh.
Just want to get your thoughts also on last weekend's fight in Manchester between Liam Smith and Chris Eubank Jr. Obviously, Chris Eubank Jr. Avenging his defeat in the first fight. What did you make of Eubank's performance?
Listen, you can't take anything away from Eubank. Performed unbelievably. I thought he was really, really good. You could tell Liam was flat, and don't want to make excuses for him, but it's not easy to look good against someone like that. But nevertheless, you can't take anything away from Chris. He performed brilliantly. I didn't think he was going to be able to do that. I thought the same sort of generally what happens in rematches is the same result, but sometimes easier. But taking it after him, it was an unbelievable performance. I thought his uppercuts was really, really good. His body work and his uppercuts was fantastic. So yeah, that's off to him.
There is, well, it's not just as a result of Eubank winning. This has been obviously spoken about for quite some time ago, since their fight fell out almost a year ago between Conor Bennett and Chris Eubank Jr. But that fight, it still kind of seems to be the natural fight for Chris Eubank and Conor Benn to have next for their careers, still, or not?
Well, I mean, it's whatever people want to see. You've got to go off what the public or the crowd, the fans demand. I don't know. From what I can gather online, it's mixed reviews. So there's still people sceptical about the Conor Benn situation. There's still people who want to see that fight. So before any of the controversy, even though the weight was an issue, I was mad for that fight, because of the nostalgia of it and stuff. And I'm a huge Nigel Benn fan. I always have been since I was a kid. So the build up to it and the adverts and sort of comparison to the dads and stuff like that was brilliant. But you know, whether that moving forward now, if the fight's going to happen, and if it will still be as big and as popular as it was originally, just remains to be seen.
Yeah, interesting to see. Obviously, I think Conor Benn obviously will come back. He hasn't fought for, I think it's 18 months, so I'm assuming that he'll kind of come back first before a potential fight with Eubank. But I don't know, there's a lot of, it's been spoken about for so long now, it's almost not become boring, but it's almost like, right, well, is that going to happen or is it not? But we'll wait and see.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions what people want to ask, and there's probably a lot of questions what are still unanswered. Whether they'll get answered or not, I don't know, but sometimes they never do.
Let me ask you your opinion on this situation, which is, again, week by week, there's some sort of development to the topic of testing, drug testing. Eddie Hearn's come out the other day and said that every show from whatever point from now will have VADA testing. So whatever level of show he's having, VADA testing all the way through it, which is quite a big statement to make. Has chucked the gauntlet to the other promoters to see whether they're going to follow suit. But yeah, it's quite a strong move that from Eddie to do that.
Big statement, and it's a good move. Whether it's financially viable for everyone remains to be seen again. But if we're going to move forward as a sport and get respect back for it after what's happened recently, then things like that need to happen. So I take my hat off to Eddie for saying that. Hopefully he follows it through. The big issue I've got with the testing procedure is not necessarily, like, obviously it's happening more regular, and that's why people, and it's more stringent now as well, which is why more people are getting caught. So I don't think more people are cheating. I think they're just getting caught more often. The problem I've got with it is it's always, the results are always after the fight, and that's not going to stop an injury or a fatality if that person gains an advantage. So we need to get to the stage where when the testing's done, the results are processed quicker, because I don't see the point in doing testing and someone failing, but you don't find out the results till after the fight.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that, again, has been spoken about. We saw like Ben Shalom's comments over that kind of the fight week testing to the results not coming back before a fight. But also Chris Eubank did post last Friday before the fight that he was being tested on that Friday, I believe. So he's been
tested on the Friday, but you won't get the results back till after the fight, which to me is insane. Now, surely, I understand if during camp there can be I don't know if it's the same sort of thing. I'm guessing here because I'm not a drug tester. I'm not in a lab. I don't do the analysis. But if you pay a bit more money, you get the results back quicker on most things.
Yeah, see, I spoke to Eddie about this, and he said it's not that straightforward. Like, there are people, I've read loads of comments from people saying that, yeah, if you can kind of like pay for something to arrive in theory, but I don't think...
I had blood test results done privately, yeah, and I got the results back 2 days later, and that was nothing serious. Or you do it through the NHS and it probably takes about 6 months. So that's what I'm saying to you. So there must be a series of events what can happen where in a situation where it's the day before the fight, they can get the test results. The problem you've probably got there is the promoters going, I don't want the test results coming back tomorrow, because if they come back positive, the event's going to fall through. And that's not the right reason not to stop the event from going forward. But I understand, why would you want to do 10, 12 weeks work and for it to fall through? But people's lives are at risk.
So again, when I was mentioning this to Eddie a few days ago, he said that, like, what's the answer to that then? Just not have the testing in the week then? Do you know what I mean? Or,
exactly.
Well, but he's saying that regardless of whether the results, when they come, we're still, if they're failing, we're still finding out that they're failing. But I get what you're saying, because what happens if something happens?
No, exactly. So I wouldn't want the event to fall through, not necessarily for the person who's failed the test, not at all, but for the rest of the undercard, because all these my fighters, for instance, could be on the undercard and they don't earn a living. and I think this happens, and I've heard about it happening before, is when it's a big card, or even when it's, I think you should always have a backup opponent or someone on standby. It won't cost a fortune to get someone to be training alongside someone for the sort of a month or so before it. And if something did happen, then you've got a live opponent who's ready to step in at the last minute. That's probably an option. But again, that's more money.
It's interesting. It'd just be good to see all the promoters kind of all singing off the same sheet, rather than kind of having swipes at each other over, you know, different how Eddie's handling, like I said, drug testing, and then
Should all be on the same page.
Should be all on the same page is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, something I did want to talk to you about actually. This topic of 3-minute rounds for Chantel and Katie Taylor. Unlikely, do you think?
It's not going to happen. I can't see it happening because I saw Serrano's comment underneath it, and she said that they'd asked for 3-minute rounds with Katie, and it just wasn't an option. So I love the fact that Chantel wants to do it, and I think the only way we're going to move forward in terms of getting the same level of respect for the women as we are the men, it's probably the final hurdle really now, is because I think we've come so far with women's boxing, and Katie and Chantel and everyone else who's been taking part over the last few years have really made a statement and sort of stamped their authority on the sport. But that's probably the only thing what's going to stop them from being on a level playing field with the men is the 2-minute rounds and the sort of 10-2s instead of 12-3s for championship fights. It doesn't make sense to me, Coog, that they turn from amateur to professional, and when they're boxing at the highest level in the amateurs, which is 3-minute rounds, they then turn professional and drop to 2s. Doesn't make sense to me. So, and I know Chantel could definitely do it. I think they should be doing it, but I don't think it'll happen.
Am I right in thinking that Nicola Adams, she fought one of her fights as 3-minute rounds?
That's news to me. If she did, then...
Well, no, I'm pretty certain that that's... Sam, quick one. Nicola Adams fought a fight with 3-minute rounds, didn't she? Nicola Adams, she fought 3-minute rounds, didn't she, in one of her fights?
I believe so, yeah. I believe so. Was it
See,
that? Was it
that's the way. Yeah, that's the way moving forward. I've seen actually today the WBC.
It was a few years ago.
No, I'll get that out of the way. No, I think was it the one at Royal Albert Hall?
I really don't know.
There was definitely
There
Nicola
was
Adams.
definitely one fight she did.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, but you see, these I've just seen the WBC have said that they won't sanction the fight if it's 3-minute rounds as well, which is insane. Doesn't make sense because, you know, it's a,
So it definitely ain't going to happen, is it? Like,
yeah, but why though? I mean, to me that's discrimination. If you're saying you're not going to do it because it's women, it's madness. That's craziest statement I've seen around all the comments. That was the worst one I've seen.
yeah, I mean, I hadn't seen that, but yeah, that's quite strange if that is the case. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we're not going to sanction this because women can't do 3-minute rounds. That's like, that's mental.
Okay. All right. Well, Jamie, listen, appreciate your time. I know you guys are here for a few more days, so we'll catch up with the rest of your team as the week goes on. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Not really. I'm just going to go and see the chiropractor now and get my back sorted out because these people keep beating me up on a daily basis and it's not on. Especially you.
How was your weekend last weekend?
Listen, it could have been better. Obviously, Dave didn't perform as well as he can, but listen, these things happen in boxing, and his ear had gone, his jaw was in a bad way. He couldn't get into the fight, and I wasn't going to see him just keep taking shots and leave him in there when he wasn't fit to be in there. So it's my job to protect him from himself. So yeah, you know, it's not ideal, but he lives to fight another day if he wants to.
Yeah. Do you know what? I wasn't actually making reference to Saturday. I was asking how your Sunday went, to be honest with you.
Talking about football.
No, I'm just saying, how did your Sunday go?
Let's talk about football. Well, it didn't go fucking great, to be honest, because I was sat in my garden. So I've set it up nice in my garden now where I can get my telly and my doors are open and I can turn it, and I'm sat in the garden watching the TV. I feel like I'm on holiday because it was nice, the weather. And in the 87th minute, I'm on my own, jumping around my garden, celebrating.
That's how it scored, yeah.
Because Garnacho's pulled the winner in, and he did. and we got ripped. It wasn't offside. No, don't tell me that.
100% offside.
Well, you're gonna say that, aren't you?
100% offside.
And then-
Gabriel.
And then, to make it 10 times worse, in the 96th minute or whatever it was, and I'm not, you know what, why do you even talk about football?
No, I was asking you about that, your weekend, about Sunday, and then you went deep into Dave Allen's fight. But no, it's all right. Listen, it's only football. It doesn't really mean anything, does it, mate?
Patronising arm grab I've ever seen in my life. Fuck. You know what, go away.
Mate. Jamie Moore, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV, and yeah, we'll definitely catch up with you again soon, mate. Top man.
Because I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt wins. Right, the bouncers guilt wins.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,